Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking the best centers in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM here on this tier list. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 30,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day. Tons of consistent daily MyTEAM content. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. And without further ado, let's hop right into it. And let's discuss, starting off with the first center in today's video, which is going to be Alonzo Mourning. So, Alonzo is only 6'11" and does not have an elite level release. He is definitely in the lower tier of centers. Is he in the very bottom tier of these centers? Well, you could make the argument. I don't know. If I'm gonna have 5 guys in the D tier, though, I'm not sure he's one of those 5. I don't think quite anyway. He's not super far off, but he's definitely lower tier. If he had a better release, I'd be much higher on this card, but his release isn't great, and he also doesn't have unbelievable size, so I think C is fair. Now, Drummond is D. He can't shoot threes. That's about all you need to say. Not to mention he's also only 6'10", so that's another issue, but the inability to shoot threes at all is a liability, so that's an obvious D tier. I like Artis Gilmore a lot. I think he's A tier. I think 7'2" with a very smooth release. I know his 3-ball rating is lower, but I still think he's a really good card. He defends incredibly well, and he's a great standing dunker. Holds his own against the best gambling bigs, and really that's what you want at the end of the day, especially out of an opal big like Artis. So I like that card a lot. I think he's A tier. I think Arvidas Sabonis is significantly worse than Artis Gilmore. I think he's like low B, mid C maybe. Definitely not super high on this list by any means. I think I'm going to go C for him, honestly, because his release just isn't good, whereas a guy like Artis has a good release. Yes, Arvidas has much better shooting stats and badges, but his release is much worse. And also, I feel like he's slower, which he is. He is just less effective as an overall inside big. He's going to be more of a liability against the speed of some of these other big men, and I think at the C tier, I think that's the fairest spot for him, honestly. Bull's really good, but he doesn't have Hoff brick wall or Hoff movable enforcer. He's a little soft, honestly, at the center position. I think mid-A is fair, as he's really good, and especially at power forward, he's phenomenal, but I think it's probably fairer to put him A tier than it is to put him S. Daniel Gafford is, again, too small at only 6'10" and can't shoot the 3-ball. Pretty simple. I mean, the guys who are in D tier generally have major flaws, and that's a major flaw, an inability to shoot the 3-ball, so that's D tier. I think very solid card, D-Rob, very smooth release. I think he's super duper solid still. I'd say B tier is very fair. I wouldn't go any higher than that at this point, although I do like D-Rob a lot. I'm a big fan. He just doesn't have the playmaking for it. I think overall I'm not going to say he's limited or bad or anything like that, because he's certainly not, but I think he could be a little bit better than he is. I don't know. I guess I'd probably go with B tier. Then I'm sure we'll get another D-Rob soon that'll be an A or S tier type big, but right now I'm going B. S tier for Dikembe, obviously. He is the best big man in the game, I think, still, outside of one man, maybe, who is obviously 100 overall, Yao Ming. We'll get to him. But outside of that, I think Dikembe is probably still your best big in my team right now. Definitely S tier, in my opinion. Elite level card, for sure. I think Domantas Sabonis is bad, but I'm not sure. Well, there are a couple other guys on this list who are definite D tiers. If I'm going to have a 5th D tier guy, I think it would be Sabonis. My question is, am I going to have a 5th D tier guy? And you know what? The answer is yes, because I don't like this Sabonis. Well, he can shoot the ball okay. I'm going to put him C. I don't think he's quite D. He's not as bad as the guys that are going to be in D tier. I don't like Sabonis, but I'm going C tier with him. He's not a horrifically awful card. He can hit an open 3. He's not the worst defender in the world. Not horribly slow. The card's not awful. I think C is fair. Akeem's really good. He's one of the best opals in the game among big men, I think. I would say... Oh, I really like Akeem, but I still think... I mean, he's better playmaker than D-Rob is. Better fade than D-Rob has. But they're relatively similar as cards. Like, he's a better D-Rob, but he's high B or low A? I honestly, I like him as much as Bull at center, though. So I'm going to go A. I think we're putting him A. I do not love Joel Embiid. I'm putting him B. People are not going to like this, but I think Akeem is a better shot creator than Embiid. I think he's got a better fade, and I think he's got a better release. I like him better than Embiid, plain and simple. I don't love that dark matter Embiid. I just don't think he's that good. I think B tier is very fair for him. He's just not elite. Kareem is 7'2" with 100 overall stats. Really darn good card. I still kind of struggle to put him S tier, but like he probably is, right? He's the last S tier guy. Probably. I don't know. I guess we'll go S tier. But it's tough for me to put him S tier because I almost want to put him A because I just don't love his release. But he is 7'2" with 99 speed and amazing animations across the board. Does a lot of things really well. I think you still got to go S, which means honestly the Dark Matter Kareem is also S because I didn't include him on this list because he plays basically the same as his 100 overall does. So put him in S as well. KP's still S, 7'3" with all the Hoff interior badges. That's really about all you need at the center position, especially with how elite of a shooter is and how great his release is. Definitely, I think, solidly in the S tier as well. Marcus Gasol's like low B, probably. I think not a terrible card, but at this point, a little bit outdated. Release is kind of ugly, but at least it's not super slow. I think as a whole, he's a pretty good card, but I would definitely leave him in the low B tier at this point. I really liked Mark Eaton. I still do. I just think the shooting is very Artis Gilmore-esque, a little bit more limited. He does a ton on the interior. He's still a very good card, but I think when you compare him to the best of the best, he's probably A instead of S. Although I say that, I'm looking at the rest of this list. I might wind up moving both Artis and Mark Eaton up. I don't know. This is going to be the hottest take of the video. If I put Mo Bamba in S tier, are y'all going to cancel me? Mo Bamba is legitimately better than Bol Bol at center. I truly believe that. He has a better escape. He has the Hoff interior badges that Bol Bol doesn't have with Brick Wall and a movable enforcer. I guess he's 2 inches shorter, but his player build is very similar to Bol Bol's. I'll put him high A, but I really want to put him S. I think he's really good, and yeah, I really like this Mo Bamba card a lot. I think he's absolutely elite. Point guard / whatever Jokic, the level 40 Jokic, regardless, they're the same card. So if you're playing either level 40 Jokic at center, they're going to give you the same amount of production, which I think is B tier caliber. Not bad, but not elite. Better off using specifically this one at point guard, but I think level 40 Jokic at center is not a horrible card. Patrick Ewing is very mediocre. I'm going to go C tier for him. His release is just so poor that I think it kills the card, kind of like Alonzo Mourning. Really holds him back, especially because he doesn't have unbelievably glitchy size, and I think you go C tier for him. Ralph Sampson is a worse version of an Artis Gilmore or a Mark Eaton. I think you got to go high B. Like, I really do believe these guys are probably a little bit better. I know in my center lists originally that I was doing a couple weeks ago, I think I put him a little higher, but I don't think he really deserves that because his release isn't great, and he's like not horribly fast, and he's just really big. I mean, but he's really big without a lot of shooting ability or playmaking or anything along those lines. He's literally just big, and that's not enough. Robert Parrish is also very big, but does not have a great release. Well, actually, his release is fine. He just can't shoot the 3-ball. Doesn't have the ratings for it. I think you got to go D tier for him, obviously. 100 overall Shaq. Y'all are going to notice there are 4 Shaqs on this list. I think that's realistic. This Shaq goes B tier, 100 overall Shaq. Not incredible. Release is bad, but still very good. The other 100 overall Shaq would also go in this B tier. This is where 100 overall Shaq deserves to be at this point because of his release, I think. Now, Goat Shaq is obviously S tier, one of the very best cards in the game. This is not a card that exists very much, but he has Ben Shepherd base instead of his own base. Much better jump shot. Makes him, as a whole, a much better card. Now, Shaq, the Dark Matter, the regular Dark Matter version is C tier because he's like the 100 overall, but he doesn't have as much shooting ability. Same SIG, same animations, just much more limited as a shooter, which the 100 overall already wasn't great. So that puts him in C tier because he's very Patrick Ewing-esque at this point in terms of being almost a liability as a shooter, although Ewing does have better ratings. And then you have Opal Shaq, and both Opal Shaqs, honestly, this one, which is pullable, and the free one would both be D tier because you can't shoot the 3-ball at all. These Goat drops have been kind of interesting so far, but Shaq is definitely one of the D tier guys. So I would say this Shaq is 100% D. And yeah, I got 4 different Shaqs in this list because there's 4 different versions that are 4 different tiers of Shaq in this game basically right now. Tyson Chandler is A tier. He is on the Artis Gilmore, Hakeem Olajuwon, Mo Bamba level of Opal Bigs with a really good release who can defend, can score, like can do a lot of things really well. Tyson Chandler is one of the better bigs in my team. I think he's elite. I think Wemby is obviously incredible. Still, I think probably the 2nd or 3rd best big in the game, or one of the best. There's a couple better than him, I guess, at this point. I think Dikembe is better. Obviously, Goat Shaq is probably better. And obviously, Yao is better as well as the last 100 overall. In S tier, the 7'6" 100 overall. Obviously, very glitchy to have a guy of that size with that type of speed. As a whole, this list is pretty fair, though. The S tier guys are insane. The A tier guys are still very good. The B tier guys are solid. The C tier guys are meh, and the D tier guys suck. I actually think there's pretty distinct tiers in this video, and honestly, I kind of like them. So I'm interested to hear y'all's thoughts on this list, but I think it's a pretty decent one. So I hope y'all did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.